watchers, and welcome to a movie review today, or movies review. Of course, I did this before. I did do it before. Then I kind of just cut me off afterwards. But now I'm gonna try doing a lot of Star Wars review of all the Star Wars movies on all the Star Wars movies from Episode 1 to the Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Now I've watched them all a few days back. Actually, I finished watching them and I loved them to bits, every one of them. So I'm going to review the first one. I don't know which way. I wasn't sure which way to review these films, from The Phantom Menace or New Hope. So I thought I'd review the Phantom Menace first. Actually, I've got all six films, then I've got the other two. Phantom Menace is the infamous Phantom Menace. That film kind of bugs me a bit because of the acting and stuff. I mean, I like the fact that he introduced characters like Watto and stuff. It's Watto, the character that who works in that junk shop with Anakin Skywalker on Tatooine. I can't pronounce that word at all. Ooh, Anakin Skywalker, Anakin, ooh, that one that talks like that. Ooh, you are my friend. It doesn't really say that, but anyway, so yeah, it's got introduces characters like Watto and a young Anakin Skywalker, Darth Maul. Even a young Palpatine before he became the Emperor. And of course it introduces other infamous characters like Jar Jar Binks, who I admit he's not very good, but when you watch him in the Clone Wars, he's better. So yeah. So I'm going to do them all in one go. Try to, so it should only take about half an hour. Hopefully. Yeah, so this film is definitely the worst in the series now. But it has some most memorable moments in it. For instance, the fight between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn. I mean, another character, Qui-Gon Jinn, I like him. It was voiced by Liam Neeson. I think Darth Maul was played by Paul Parker. Is it Paul? Something like that. I think his name was British martial arts actor. He was on the X-Men, by the way. Is it Paul Parker? I don't remember his name now. Darth Maul is a great character. I think he's probably the best character in this movie. I think if he wasn't in this film, right, I think the film would be even worse than it is, because one, you need a good villain in Star Wars, and I think Darth Maul is probably the most memorable. Even more over Attack of the Clones, I think. But the problem with this film, the acting is so scripted. It's like they're reading from a script most of the time in the movie, because there's one part with Queen Amidala's bodyguard, right, with one of her guards, right, he's like, she's doing the ship right, and he goes, "What's his number?" And it's like, it just goes up to the R2D2. It's like, I mean, even some of the actors are more robotic than the R2D2 unit. Even he acts more human in his film. C-3PO. Of course, there's another part where it kind of makes no sense. Is Anakin Skywalker building C-3PO? That was kind of like, that idea was a bit daft, because you didn't have to have every character in this movie. That's what they didn't need to do, because that's what they just thought. Let's have a C-3PO, R2D2 in this film. Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they didn't need to do that. Obi-Wan Kenobi is fine because, he's part of the Jedi, counts as he's part of the Jedi, so he's a Jedi master, right? And of course, they didn't have to introduce characters. Oh, let's have Anakin Skywalker building C-3PO. That never makes sense to me why they did that. Daft. There is parts you think, why? They didn't need to do that. I wouldn't have done that. It's daft. Stupid that was. Like I said, some of the acting is pretty bad in it. Some of it's okay. But I think the best actors in this film are Liam Neeson and the guy who plays Palpatine. I think two of the Uber McGregor's okay. I think sometimes he feels as if he's reading from a script. So yeah. Of course, films are read from a script, but when you make a movie, they go, right, let's just have them say that dialogue. That's what it felt like. Instead of improvising sometimes, I just went, that's just right. You got to say that in the script, but say you don't have to just say the way you want to say it. And that's what I thought, as if they didn't give a monkeys about it in this film. They're just like, let's just say it and just. Anyway, so there's other great moments in this movie, like the pod racing scene. It looks great. I suppose in a way it looks a bit dated now. It does. Some of the film looks quite dated now compared to A New Hope. because this film relies more on CGI and all that, loads of CGI. And this film was made in 1997, so it was released in 1999. I remember seeing the trailer in 1998, though, late 98, just before Christmas. And I was like, oh my god, I've got to, you know, I had to wait till it comes on VHS. I actually watched it on VHS before it came on, you know, so I thought, yeah, it looks good on Blu-ray though. The films look great and fantastic on Blu-ray, but yeah, like I said, it's got Jar Jar Binks who annoys the heart of me in this movie, so that's the way it makes those stupid sounds. And, you know, I'm Jar Jar Binks. Oh, it looks like a friggin', I don't know what it looks like. It's just got a rabbit and a friggin' some, I don't know. It looks like Sylvie, I don't know. Maybe like a, I don't know. He looks weird in it. His Jar Jar Binks is a strange character, but you know, if you're watching, say it's called Clone Wars, right? He's actually better than that. He should be more like that Jar Jar Binks than the film Jar Jar Binks. If you're watching the Clone Wars, he's actually more likable in that, which is strange the way they did it. I don't think the guy likes him who did his voice. Actually, I think he seems a bit embarrassed by it. To be honest, I was watching it on film, he looks like he, you know. So yeah, I still great to see this. I mean, the film's got some fantastic moments in it. You know, like I said, the lightsaber fight there is probably the most memorable part in the whole movie. Darth Maul's the most memorable character. Of course, you got characters like Mace Windu and other Jedi, you know, Jedi's of light in the film, like a young Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, like I said. But Samuel Jackson's a great character, but you don't see much in this film apart from just sitting there going, we can't train this boy, or this boy is, you know, there's parts where Obi-Wan Kenobi says, this boy is dangerous, you know, he knows he's dangerous, but yeah, so yeah, I'm going to give this 3 out of 10 now. I give this film a 7 out of 10 because I still like it. It's aged bad. It's got some of the worst acting I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. I mean, that guy who, Weiser guy in that room, what's his name? That guy who, Weiser? That guy who's in the room and he's such a wooden actor. He wouldn't look out of place in this movie. He really wouldn't.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hey, Johnny, what's up?
I have a problem with Lisa. She said that I hit her.
What?
I can just imagine people going, hello, guys. Oh, you're not my father. Oh. So yeah. I thought that was a terrible version of him, but, you know, there's a film called, what's that film called? The Artist. Yeah, that looks quite funny. I've never seen the Room film, but I saw some of the scenes in it, and I think, you know, that scene, you know, that won't look out of place on the Phantom Menace, and the acting is so bad. But yeah, I still like it. I still like the Phantom Menace. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. So yeah. Right, the next film on review is The Attack of the Clones. This film was released a few years after 2001, 2002, I think it was. It might have been 2001. Was it 2002? I can't remember. I remember my brother and his girlfriend getting me that film on DVD, and I loved it. I had a blast watching it. Some of the scenes are just like wow. Yeah, the battle on Geonosis. You see an older, a grown-up Anakin Skywalker, of course. In this film, Obi-Wan Kenobi's growing a beard, of course, because he didn't look right without the beard. I thought, no, that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. He looks beardless, you know. So, you know, it's more epic with the beard, you know. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi, but yeah. But yeah, I like this I like the Attack of the Clones episode 2. Introduces characters like Count Dooku, played by Christopher Lee, the late great Christopher Lee, passed away last year, year before. I can't remember when he died now. Last year was it? And he's great. I think he's one of the next memorable character. I mean, he's fantastic. Straight away, you know, he's a fantastic actor. You know, he's on screen and he just starts talking. You think that's Christopher Lee, fantastic actor. But yeah, I like his character. I think his character's underrated because I like the fact that he uses like force lightning in it. You know, you think, oh, he's got force lightning. Of course, in this one you got like a Yoda. It's a CGI Yoda. Of course, in the Phantom Menace, they had like a puppet Yoda, but it didn't look right. The personality wasn't there. But then they replaced him on the Blu-ray as a CGI. It looks better, actually, I'll admit. I would have preferred it if it was a puppet still in the Phantom Menace, and they just, you know, like in Empire Strikes Back. But yeah, but I suppose they can't really have it that way. So yeah, I like, you know, the fact that you see Yoda fighting this is pretty cool. It looks a bit kind of daft now, but I suppose Still pretty cool seeing that Yoda walking with a walking stick, then he's flipping and flying around. And, you know, it's pretty cool. I don't know how he can do that. To be honest, I mean, how the hell can you walk on a walking stick and then use lightsaber and stuff? But yeah, there's a lot of great scenes in this film. But the lightsaber fight between Count Dooku and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker is pretty cool. I like the way Anakin Skywalker has two lightsabers, starts having a fight with Count Dooku, but of course he gets his arm chopped off. So, well, that's when he starts becoming more robotic and stuff like that. Christian, what's his name? The guy who plays Anakin Skywalker. He's not bad actually in this film. It's not the scene that's quite disturbing. It's quite dark. Is the part where he goes to rescue his mum from the Tusken Raiders, right? And he murders them all there because she dies, right? And of course he starts to turn to that's where he kind of starts to turn to the dark side a bit, showing his dark side. And he murders everyone there: the dogs, the animals, the pet dog things, the parents and the kids. So that's pretty dark. That scene was. And that's where he never crossed the line, is murder and stuff like that. But yeah, that scene was pretty cool where you see him on his back and it's like, that scene was pretty cool. And of course it introduces characters like the clone troopers. I think are pretty cool in this. Because they look a bit like stormtroopers, but they're not. Sometimes I hate reviewing films, but I've got to do it. I've got to force myself to do it. So yeah, I don't know why I hate it. It's like I'm forced to do it. I'm like, oh, come on, let's do it. So yeah. And the battle on Geonosis is probably the most, badass, It's like a war movie, this one. It's like, I suppose in a way it looks dated to this film, because this film's 2002 now, 2001. So it looks quite dated now, but I think the problem is sometimes films done in like 2002 war scenes, like CGI and stuff, look like a bit dated now compared to now. Of course, now they could just do it with, for instance, Rogue One and stuff. That looks absolutely, I'm going to get to that part in a bit, that film. But yeah, I like this film. I like the dark scenes and like but I think the scene that really bugs me is the scene where the love story between Anakin Skywalker and Queen Amidala. It slows the film down completely. It really does slow it down. They didn't need that. They could have had the relationship, but they could have like pressed it a little bit, like worked on that a little bit, because it felt kind of forced, but at the same time slow as hell. Unlike the freaking relationship between Han Solo and Princess Leia. I mean, that was just spot on, that performance. If that wasn't cheesy as hell, but this was that performance, relationship between Anakin Skywalker and Queen Amidala. So yeah, I'm gonna give this rating. I said I'm rushing through this reviews because they're gonna take me forever. I'll give this film an 8 out of 10 because I do like this film. I love the lightsaber. I like the lightsaber fight between Yoda and freaking Count Dooku. It looks a bit hokey now, of course, but still a cool scene and you see the clone troopers and stuff. I love that scene. So yeah, I give it an 8 out of 10 for Attack of the Clones. Right, the next review is Star Wars: The Revenge of the Sith. Now this was the film that I've been waiting for. I remember when the first two came around, I thought, oh wow, and then I started seeing stuff on the new one, like the trailer for Episode 3, and I went, oh my god, that looks good. The film wasn't disappointing, that's for sure. I was impressed with this film. It wasn't like full on perfect, but man, this is how the other films should have been, more epic scale and everything. Like this film had stuff in it that I just found, yeah, this film is a lot better film compared to Episode 1 and 2. Definitely better than Episode 1. Hell yes. Just that last lightsaber fight between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker. Fantastic scene. This film's got some great. Actually, the film still looks good. Actually, for a 2005 film, I don't think it's it looks some of the effects I suppose look a bit out of date still, but it still looks great. I think, especially the beginning of the film over Coruscant, the space battle over Coruscant, the battle between the clone troopers and the Republic and the Federation. The droid armor. So yeah, still, that scene at the end with the baby Luke Skywalker and stuff like that. And it's just a great movie. The fight between on Mustafar. That scene. Oh man, I was watching this guy's view and it was like saying it drags on a bit, but I don't think it does. I think it just goes out full throttle. This film. The lightsaber fight is pretty epic. I liked it anyway. That kind of buffers me. If he fights that, how comes he doesn't fight like that in the later films? It's kind of like they should have just kind of like, normal lightsaber fighting. It would have been more. But yeah, it's still pretty epic. The film was. I like the way Anakin Skywalker tells Mace Windu that Palpatine's the Sith Lord, man, and he's like, stay behind, man. It's like, and he's like, you know, to be honest, he should have brought him with him. I don't know. I just think it might have been different if he brought Anakin Skywalker with him, because he would have like, oh, you trust me now. So yeah, that might have changed a few things, that scene, because when he goes to see Palpatine, man, he says, and then the next bit is like a lightsaber fight. He somehow managed to kill the other Jedi Masters, right? I don't know how he does that, but that scene was kind of strange, because these guys are meant to be, you know, warriors, you know, Jedi Masters, the best in the galaxy. Of course, he murders a few of them, man. And then, of course, it's Mace Windu versus Palpatine. Darth Sidious, of course. The Emperor. I can't say that word. But I do like that scene where he's out the window and it says, he must die, and he's like holding his lightsaber with Anakin Skywalker, because there's no, and he chops his hand off. And that scene was pretty cool, because it's like, and then the thing is, full, like, you know, his face was all like, you know, because he was using his electric bolts on Mace Windu. Of course, his face went all freaking, you know, he looks a bit like Freddy Krueger, you know. That scene was pretty freaky. Of course, Mace Windu kind of goes out the window, and that scene was pretty cool. And I thought, makes you wonder if he actually survived that, but I don't think it would have. It would have been dead. Kind of shame. It would be interesting in the next film if he actually did survive, and he's actually the villain in the next ones, all burnt and stuff like that, all mangled and stuff. He could actually have survived it, you know. I think about it in the next film where he's like Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he's actually the villain this time. He's like all mangled up and he's got lost his hand and stuff like that. And he somehow managed to survive. I don't know. It's possible that he survived Mace Windu, but if this time he's the villain in it, I don't know. I'd love to see him as the villain this time. With dark side, and he thinks everyone's betrayed him and stuff like that, so just left him behind to die. Yeah, but this film was fantastic. Order 66, the way they did that. I love the way they did that, where all the clone troopers murdered the Jedi and stuff like that. And then, of course, there's an explanation in the Clone Wars and why, you know, the clone troopers turn against the Jedi, because they put these chips in the edges here so they can. But some of the chips actually did they malfunction or something, or they weren't put in some of the. They was taken out or something from some of the troopers or something, or the malfunction or something. So yeah. But yeah, and the Clone Wars, they actually, you know, you actually see him like, you know, explain a bit more about that. So yeah, I love the film to bits. I think the lightsaber fight at the end was fantastic. Some really cool scenes. I think the problem with these films is the fact that C-3PO, no, R2-D2 flies in it. I mean, that's what annoys me. Why have them flying in the film? It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, apart from that, they shouldn't have done that full stop, because if they fly in the film, how come they don't fly in the other films? So yeah. Of course, the last part's fantastic. At the end, where you actually see Darth Vader, birth of Darth Vader, where he's like, because the last part of the movie where he's all on fire and stuff like, and you know, on Mustafar and stuff like, and of course Thingy calls him Darth Vader, of course, Palpatine. So yeah, that's the birth of Darth Vader in this movie, which I enjoyed. I think they did a great job with that movie. The sad part is that when Padme dies, that's the sad part, when she dies and she gives birth to Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. But that scene kind of baffles me too, because she just kind of goes, Luke, Leia, and I just thought, well, they could have done more on that, you know, naming the babies that freaking fast. Hell, well, yeah, I don't know. They could have just said, what are you gonna call your kid? And I thought, I don't know, I'll think of something, you know. So yeah, but fantastic. I love the last part where, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi's on Tatooine, where Luke Skywalker later on in the movies on the farm, so yeah, fantastic movie. I love Revenge of the Sith. It's got some great moments in it. It's got some like moments I think they could have done better, but apart from that, I enjoyed it. So yeah. Oh, there's another scene that I liked. I thought it was quite a dark scene where Anakin chops Count Dooku's head off because Palpatine tells him to, and that scene was like, straight away you think, that's Palpatine, the start of Darth Sidious straight away. Do it. Kill him now. And that scene was pretty cool. I like that scene. Because you think, oh, he's evil. Straight away, you see his dark side there straight away. But yeah, Palpatine's great in this. It's great to watch. So yeah. Oh, of course, another character called General Grievous is like a robot, and he has these like lightsabers. So he's a good character. I liked him. Right. I liked him. I like General Grievous. Actually, he's in the Clone Wars. He is. So yeah, he is. He's in the Clone Wars, and he's a great character, really. So yeah, I liked him. You know, you'll see people's opinions, and it's like, oh, he sucks and stuff, but I don't think it is. I think he's a good character, yeah. So yeah. So I give this film a 9 out of 10. Because but 9, yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it's the best of the prequels. Some of the acting's pretty solid. Some of it's still wooden, but not as bad. So yeah. So like I said, it's got some great scenes in this film. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for Revenge of the Sith. Thumbs up for that one. Right, this is the next review of is Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. This film was, oh, what can I say about this movie? I actually love this film to bits. It's like a film that you can keep close to your heart whenever, you know, wherever you go, you know what, I'm going to watch that movie, you know, Star Wars: A New Hope. It's just a great movie. I think the Blu-rays do bug the shit out of me though, right? When you watch them on Blu-ray, why the hell did they change a few things on that film? And I'm not joking, they did change a few things and it annoys the hell out of me when I watch that film. You've got to be kidding me. I've got the original films on DVD, right? The unedited, and it's better, I think, much better. So yeah, don't know why. It's just certain parts of this movie that bug the hell out of me when you watch it now on prequels. You know, I mean, I New Hope, the remastered, edited, added stuff on movie. You know, so yeah. Now this film is fantastic still, either way, but yeah, I hate when they do that because there's nothing wrong with the film. You don't just start changing things, start throwing that in there just to, you know, try to improve it. You just make it worse. So anyway, let's just get to it, right. Introduces characters like Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, R2-D2 and C-3PO. Of course, C-3PO and R2-D2 are on the prequels, but this is their first film in the movies. Of course, the original film, unedited, was a lot better than the film. Because this, when they put on Blu-ray, I was watching it, and I went, what the hell? There's one where Obi-Wan Kenobi comes out and makes that sound, that, and it sounds ridiculous. It does. I mean, I love the film still. It's still a great movie, but irritates the hell out of me. Irritates me. Because he makes this stupid sound. It's like, it's like me having a freaking nightmare. It's like, he makes this like weird sound. It's like, what the hell? What was wrong with the sound before? It sounded better. That does not sound scary. It sounds ridiculous. But yeah, it introduces characters like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Alec Guinness is played by Alec Guinness. Han Solo played by Harrison Ford. But yeah, great film. Simple story. Someone even said, Anthony Daniels said, it's a beautiful story, simple story, beautifully told, and it is. It's such a straightforward, easy storyline to understand. About the Empire, about the Rebel Alliance and stuff like that, and about the Jedi and stuff like that, and about a kid called Luke Skywalker who lives on the farm with his aunt and uncle, of course. This film is fantastic. I loved it. You know, I'm not going to explain the whole story because it's not a long film. It's like the short. I think it's the shortest Star Wars film out of all of them. Because the other films are like over an hour, over 2 hours. I mean, and this one's over for like just over 2 hours. So yeah, I love this film to bits. I love the Death Star scene where they get like trapped. They're on the Millennium Falcon and they get pulled into the Death Star and stuff. Of course, they have to escape the Death Star. That scene, that scene on the Death Star is fantastic. I remember I was watching behind the scenes a while back about it. I know George Lucas was stressed on this film. He was really stressed. I mean, I think he had a heart attack doing this film, but it paid off. But actually, I was watching something else about it, and it's like, I heard that the film was badly edited, so his wife kind of like edited the scenes together, and it was a big hit. So I don't know. That's what I've heard anyway. So yeah, fantastic movie. It's just, it annoys the hell out of me when I think, why edit the film so, it's like, just change this, change that. And of course, the last part of the movie, the attack on the Death Star, that scene was fantastic. I mean, this freaking thing keeps going off. I don't know what's wrong with it. So yeah, this film was fantastic. Last part was fantastic. I love it. The film's got a few funny moments in it. The part where the stormtrooper hits his head on the door, that scene was pretty funny. They kept that scene in. That was pretty funny. That scene was. Of course, in the Attack of the Clones, they actually had that scene again, where Jango Fett hits his head, kind of like thing else. So yeah, but yeah, this film was fantastic. Like I said, it's just a beautifully told film. Introduced the Millennium Falcon and stuff like that. And the last part where they celebrate at the end, they get the medals. Love that scene at the end. Fantastic. The music and the da 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 da. I remember being a kid, right? I remember like having the Star Wars figures. I remember used to be on TV, right? I used to go get the figures, right? And get, oh look, Star Wars. Used to trying to look at the character and see, oh, I've got this figure, you know. And I'm like, oh, I had the Return of the Jedi figures there, so yeah. To me, it was the same thing, you know. So yeah, this film was fantastic. Like I said, introduced the characters like C-3PO when they're on the desert and they're gonna, you know, the scene on the desert scene was pretty cool. Of course, Carrie Fisher was like 19 years old in this. Who, I tell you, I can't believe how astonished she was in those days. God, wow. So yeah, I'm gonna give the rating a 1 out of 10 now. I give the original, like I said, I'll give this film a 10 out of 10, but I would have given it probably a 9 because of the added scenes and stuff. And there's parts in the film that they changed, like the alien in the freaking cantina, like where they had like an alien back and they replaced it with another alien. It just looks less scary looking. The other alien looked like a freaking werewolf. That thing looked like a freaking, I have no idea what it looked like, you know, the other one. But they changed a few things and it annoys her when I still watch it and think, why, you know. You don't just, you know, that film was just right, perfectly right. All they had to do is change the effects and stuff maybe, and just add, you know, put it on Blu-ray, we're fine, you know. But just don't change everything about the film just want to make perfection, because it just ruins the film. So yeah, of course you want to change the scenes of Wizard of Oz because the film's good as it is, you know. So yeah. So I'll give it a 10 out of 10. I love A New Hope, one of my favourite, actually probably one of my favourites, or that on Empire Strikes Back, but you'll see this review. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for A New Hope. Great film, just scenes that just bugged the hell out of me that they changed. So yeah. Right, our next review is Empire Strikes Back. Now this film was epic. Darker mover, darker tone, and it introduces Lando Calrissian. He's a great character in this. He's kind of like a pirate himself. He's kind of like a Han Solo, but in my opinion, cooler. Because I think he owned the Millennium Falcon first. He won it off. Of course, Han Solo won it off him in some kind of bet or something. I don't know. Because they're making a Han Solo film now, so they might actually explain that film. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, it's not going to be a flop, but you never know. But yeah, really great film. Darker tone, of course. There's that famous twist in it about Luke Skywalker and his father. So yeah, the lightsaber fight between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, fantastic moment. Really well done that scene was, because it was so just right, the lightsaber fighting in it and stuff like that. And of course you can see that Luke Skywalker's got his work cut out against Darth Vader. Of course, I love the scene where he lands on Dagobah and he meets Yoda. Of course, at the beginning you don't know it's Yoda. If he knows Yoda, he says that he knows him. I'll take him to him. And then he finds out it's Luke, and then of course he starts training Luke Skywalker. Of course, he warns him about the dark side on Dagobah when he's like, there's a lot of great moments in the Cloud City part where they go to Cloud City with the meet Lando Calrissian. Of course, there's a twist in that whole situation. Of course, it turns out the Empire still actually got there before them. So yeah, that scene was pretty sad actually. You think, I like the part where she says, "I love you," and he says, "I know." Of course, when you see Return of the Jedi, there's a kind of reversal thing there. So it's a scene where I'll tell you, I'll get to that scene in a bit. Like I said, this film's got some amazing moments. Cloud City, Hoth, scenes like that, and Dagobah. So it's got quite a lot of locations in the film. So yeah, and Yoda's great, and I love Yoda. I love his playfulness. The oh, you eat this, do you? He's trying to eat his food and stuff, and it tastes really bad. But yeah, I like the scene where he gets the ship out the swamp one, and it says, "That is why you failed." That is why you failed. I say, And that scene was great. Yoda's great in this film. He really is. He's a really great character, and yeah, it's just fantastic. So yeah, Dagobah scene, great scene. Lightsaber fighting, fantastic. Great humour, and I like the part when they're in the asteroid field. That scene was fantastic. Even that still was crew. You know, all those asteroids and stuff, and they have to get away from the Empire and stuff like that. The scene was fantastic. And then they're going like that big asteroid, the massive asteroid, right? Of course, it turns out to be a giant slug, and that scene was pretty cool. You think, in there, like, what the hell's going on? You know, we're not actually in a freaking asteroid, we're in some kind of like body of the beast, I think. So yeah, it's like a massive slug thing. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's like a giant worm. It's crossing a worm and a snake. I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, fantastic mover, great mover, and darker tone to it compared to the other film. So yeah, actually, it wasn't directed by George Lucas. This one, it was directed by someone else. Actually, the guy who directed it actually sounds like Yoda, and I actually thought it was him who did his voice, but it's Frank Oz who did Yoda's voice. But he was like, "Oh, I did this film." I thought, you sound like, how comes this guy sounds like Yoda? It's weird. I'm going to wonder if they did that on purpose, you know, because it sounds like the director. I won't be surprised. He sounds just like the director that Yoda does. If you had the director, it's like, oh my god, he sounds like Yoda. It can't be a coincidence. So yeah. So I give this film a 10 out of 10. Fantastic movie, great freaking action scenes. Like I said, the twist at the end is freaking fantastic. You know, it's like, oh my god. Actually, another good thing about this film is that they added the Emperor in it. Emperor Palpatine. This film I didn't really mind, because one part where Luke Skywalker drops down this thing, right, and he makes this sound, like they added this sound in it where he's ah, and it sounds really bad, but they took that out of the film, which is good. And another thing that I liked was they added the Emperor in it, Palpatine, where he's like talking to Vader and stuff. Because in the original one, it was played by someone else. Of course, they put the finger in the film. It sounds better actually, the other guy. What's his name? And they added him in it. It just looks better. Full stop. So yeah. So there's a few things that I added that were big improvement, and that they got rid of. So yeah, like I said, I give us 10 out of 10 this film. Fantastic special effects. Darth Vader's quite scary in this one, and so yeah, 10 out of 10 for this film, for Empire Strikes Back. Fantastic movie. Alright, the next view is Return of the Jedi. And this film is great too. I love this film to bits. There's some reasons why, because one, I had the figures for it. Remember, like when I had these like Star Wars figures, I used to go to the shops. We used to live at the Sylvester, sometimes you used to have like Star Wars figures in this box. Mum used to like buy one. You know, it's like, oh man, because just right now they'll cost a lot of money. And I have to still don't know. You know, I remember I had quite a few figures. Then I got rid of them. So don't get. I'm trying to buy the ones I used to have before and just put them in. I had quite a lot of Star Wars figures. You know, I've got some of them that I had before, but they're in boxes, not they're in like figures. So yeah, this one this film was fantastic. Full stop. I love this film to bits. Introduces the Ewoks. Some people don't like the Ewoks, but I don't mind them. Jabba the Hutt too, of course, in the New Hope he's in that one, but he's like a CGI, and that scene was so stupid in New Hope, where he stands on his tail, and I didn't even mind at the beginning, but now when you watch it, it looks so stupid. But Return of the Jedi, he looks better because he's actually a full blown prop, you know, he's like a full blown practical effect, you know, and it looks fantastic. I think, why the hell did they just make him like a prop? If they ever brought him back, I don't think they could though, because he got killed in a station. So they can't really bring him back. So yeah, this film is fantastic. The Alderaan, that's it, Alderaan. This film, this film they had a second Death Star in this one, which is actually when I first watched this, I thought it was the same Death Star. Because I thought it was all, you know, like they blew it up, and I thought it was like actually a bit damaged at the side. That's how I always thought about it. I never thought it was two Death. Never thought there was two Death Stars in this film. They should really explain that for the next one, like a explanation for the second Death Star. I like to see it. That'd be great if they did that. Maybe with Rogue One too. Rogue One too. It sounds funny. So anyway, but yeah, this film was fantastic. It's got its issues and stuff, but you know the Ewoks, you know, being strong and stuff and taking on the Empire and stuff like the Stormtroopers and stuff, but the film's got some fantastic moments. The speeder bike scenes were fantastic. Darth Vader, you know, of course, Luke Skywalker knowing about Yoda dying, and then of course Yoda telling them, yeah, it's true, all of it's true. Of course, then he meets Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's a ghost in it, a Force ghost. Of course, then you find out he has a sister in it, Princess Leia. Spoiler, which is kind of odd because in Episode 5 he snogs his sister. There is moments you think, okay. Anyway, so weird. Anyway, the scene was weird when you think about it now, because I thought, hey, he's just snogged his sister. What the hell? Oh dear. Anyway, of course, they have to attack the second Death Star, of course, which is probably the most memorable space battles ever, and I think it's probably the best space battle in the whole Star Wars movies. Oh, the sequels anyway. Well, the trilogy. But yeah, like I said, the speeder bike scenes are fantastic. Princess Leia in that freaking outfit. Oh my god. I remember seeing that scene. I went, "Oh my god, ooh la la, ooh la la." But yeah, Carrie Fisher's fantastic. She still, you know, I was like, "Oh my gosh, she looks quite good with nothing on all that." So yeah, that scene was classic. That scene was classic. It's got some moments you wouldn't have in those. You wouldn't have in Star Wars now because of the PC and stuff. But yeah, the last part is my favourite. Actually, this is fantastic. Attack of the Death Star is fantastic, some of it I suppose looks a bit dated now compared to, but I just think, the part where you see the Millennium Falcon going down that trench, going down that, down the Death Star, oh man, it was just fantastic. That scene was fantastic. It's weird because you think, there must have, I think the reason why it's different because they didn't try to make the same mistakes before, but of course the weaknesses are right in the middle of the Death Star now, so which is great, because they're going down that freaking. Oh, that scene was fantastic. The last part of the film is one of my favourite parts. I think, yeah. Of course, the scene where Luke Skywalker has been taken in by Darth Vader. It's been taken by Darth Vader to the Emperor. Of course, the Emperor is trying to turn Emperor Palpatine trying to turn Luke Skywalker, like his father, to the dark side of the Force, and it almost works in a way. It almost works. It was that close. That close. The lightsaber fight between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader is pretty cool. Of course, Luke Skywalker's a lot better now. He's a lot more. He's not an amateur now in this. He's more in the last one. He's like an amateur. He did pretty well against Darth Vader in Episode 5, but he would have lost because he lost his hand in that. On this one, when he chops Vader's hand off, of course you see it's mechanic and stuff like robotic, of course. Then he realised that he's like looks at himself and looks like Darth Vader, his dad. It looks like his hand and thinks, you know what, I'm not going to turn to the dark side. And that actually turns the switch in his head and thinks, you know what, I'm not going to do this. Of course, the Emperor Palpatine thinks he's going to turn to the dark side of Force, and then of course you start seeing the Palpatine's electricity comes out. That scene was where he starts pumping electricity out Luke Skywalker's pretty cool. Of course, this film has the infamous scene where Darth Vader goes no, and it's like, why? They didn't need to have that scene because it looks more. He did it. They did it again. No, it's like, why? When you watch it, it's like it does look, but no. Yeah, this freaking Darth Vader. No, oh god, I don't know. They shouldn't have had those scenes in it. You don't need to. I don't know if it was George Lucas that did that or what, but that was so stupid. People just don't like. I don't know. It's better when you actually see Darth Vader grab Palpatine, pick him up, and then just toss him over because it looks more. You don't need to have no. That's I don't know. I have no idea why they had that no in it. I really don't. It just baffles the hell, man. I think they think it was a good idea at the time, but they've realised, oh damn, what we've done. So yeah, good film. I really did enjoy this. Fantastic, great action scenes. Some of the special effects look a bit outdated now. Some of the space battles, but apart from that, a really good film. So yeah, like I said, the battle on. The battle between the Ewoks with Stormtroopers pretty cool actually. I thought it was pretty cool scene. Yeah, I love the Ewoks. I remember I had the figure on. I've got a figure on one of the Ewoks actually. And so yeah, and there's some in the box there. So yeah, I give this film a 9 out of 10 because one, it's got some great battle scenes. I was going to give it an 8, but I think it's a lot better film. Of course, the last part of the celebration I do like that scene. Some people don't like the music in it, but I like it. So yeah, celebration at the end. So yeah. 9 out of 10 for Return of the Jedi, or Revenge of the Jedi it was going to be called, because Return. Just imagine how the VHS tapes and it's called Revenge of the... that would cost a lot of money. That would, Jesus. So yeah, Return of the Jedi, 9 out of 10. Love the bits. Right, the next review is Force Awakens. Now, this film was great. I enjoyed this film. I thought fantastic special effects. My God, I love... This film might take place years after, of course Luke Skywalker's vanished somewhere. You don't know where he is until later on in the film. Until the last part of the film is a bit of a spoiler. You have returning characters of Chewbacca, C-3PO, or kind of R2-D2, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker. But like I said, and you get like new characters like Finn and Rey and Kylo Ren, and I like Kylo Ren. People seem to shit on him, but I like them. People seem to think this film is like a remake of A New Hope, but to me it's not. Because one thing, the Death Star isn't even the planet isn't even a Death Star. It's like a planet with massive like gun on it. It's like a massive super weapon, but it's not really a freaking space station. It's not. So I don't know why they think it's the same, but yeah. There's a lot of scenes that I think, what the hell? Why I do that? Don't do that. So the scene with Luke's Han Solo and Kylo Ren scene was kind of shocking. Actually, it's kind of like I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't. I don't know. It's weird. I like Kylo Ren. He's like a Darth Vader. It's not as good as Darth Vader, I don't think, but he looks kind of like he's kind of got this like creepy voice. Actually, Daniel Craig Daniel Craig, who plays James Bond, actually makes an appearance as a stormtrooper on this. I didn't really know it was that time, but when you hear his voice, you think that's definitely him. Rey's like a character. She's kind of similar to Luke Skywalker because she lives on a planet and she's like a scavenger and stuff like that. Of course, she's not a farmer or anything like. I like the scene where they're like running from the First Order because one of the characters used to be a stormtrooper, kind of like a stormtrooper. Of course, they end up going on the Millennium Falcon because they call it a piece of junk. And that scene was pretty cool. I love the part where they get on the Millennium Falcon, but then you think, how the hell was she flying that? Of course, you don't know how she's flying it. I don't know. That scene was kind of odd. But I think she's a good character. I think she could get better in this films. I love Harrison. I like Harrison Ford in this. He's shown his quality. You know, he's just a fantastic actor. It's good that he came back. Too bad they killed him off. Well, there's a bit of a spoiler on this one. Directed by J.J. Abrams. I think he did a great job. But people seem to be shit on this guy. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. Because the effects in this film are fantastically well done. I love the part where the TIE fighters are chasing after the Millennium Falcon, and the ship is, going super speed, right? I like the part where it swings around like that. Oh man, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I like the part they recreated the Millennium Falcon, even the inside of it. It looks fantastic. I was like, oh my god. You got the scene where, the scene where they're sitting out the... See, you have to recreate everything from from A New Hope to the Millennium Falcon from the inside of it. It's fantastic the way they did it. I was like, god damn, it's like, wow, it looks exactly the same. Like I said, I like the way they've done this film. It's fantastic. That scene was pretty cool. I thought it was great, man. But it's not. I don't know. I don't think it's similar to A New Hope. It's got similar moments in it, like like the last part where they attack the freaking base, and the base is just the base. It's not a Death Star. It's not a space station. That's what I mean. It's got a thing. I don't know. People moan about the prequels because they didn't feel like the original ones, and then people moan because they didn't feel like, I don't know, because it's too familiar now. So it's either too familiar or not too similar. So too familiar. So yeah. Of course, Chewbacca's it. Because the scene with Kylo Ren and Han Solo is a bit controversial because you don't expect them to kill him off, but of course he wanted to be killed off in Return of the Jedi. Of course they did it in this one, so that's the only reason why he came back, I think, just to kill him off, I think. So, but yeah, Han Solo is great in this. I like the way they're shooting at the stormtroopers, right? And he's like, I've got it, and he uses Chewbacca's weapon, and he says, I like this, It's never used it before. Yeah, there looks like a lot of fun making this film. The effects are fantastic. The way the Millennium Falcon just kind of, it's fantastic. It looks like they went, yeah, let's give this film more attitude, yeah. Like I said, some of the space battles are fantastic and there's some great action scenes. The last part was pretty cool. They attacked the base and stuff like that, of course. Sad part was Han Solo dies in it and stuff like that. It's a bit of a spoiler. But, it's just the way it is, isn't it? So, yeah. I think Rey's an interesting character. She's definitely got the Force strong with her, but you think, who's she related to this? It's not Obi-Wan Kenobi, I don't think. It can't be them. Wouldn't make sense to be a relation to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because he wouldn't have had kids, He didn't even have a relationship, did he? I don't think he had a relationship with anyone. Not a serious one, anyway. Carrie Fisher, she's great in it. She's not in it for that long. She's in it a few scenes and that's it. Of course, they never explain why our C-3PO's got a red arm, because he's got like a red arm in it. You think, why has he got a red arm? No explanation why. Yeah, Finn plays the character. Was it Finn? He plays the defective stormtrooper. Of course, the scene at the beginning is pretty cool where they are like attack. It's like you see blood in this film. Certain parts you see blood. Then again, I suppose you see blood in A New Hope. You saw a bit of blood in A New Hope too. So yeah, yeah. Apart from that, I enjoyed this film. Good, solid performances. There's one scene that kind of thought the action was a bit off, where you see all the stormtroopers on the planet, right? They're on this planet, right? And this guy's talking in front of everyone, right? Shouting, right? And I just think that acting was kind of off. I don't know what it is about that acting. And I was thought, that guy's not even intimidating, you know. So yeah, some of that acting was kind of off compared to the rest of the film. But apart from that, I enjoyed this film. So I give this film a rating. I give this film as an 8 out of 10 because I did like it. It's got some fantastic special effects. The scene with Rey finds the Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, I think it was pretty cool. And you see all this weird stuff happening right now, like you can hear Obi-Wan Kenobi's voice. And I didn't really hear it that much, but I was looking on YouTube about it, and it was like, you do hear his voice a bit. And yeah, Yoda's voice and stuff like that, so yeah. So 8 out of 10 for Force Awakens. I think it's such a good film still. It's not perfect, but you know what, I enjoyed it. 8 out of 10. Right, the next review is, final review is Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Now this film blew me away, and I thought this was a better film altogether than freaking Force Awakens. A way better film. Way better film. It's dark. It's like to me, it's like Saving Private Ryan in space. It really was, because it was gritty, but at the same time, it felt like Star Wars. And this film had some incredible moments in it. I am not joking. Watched it at the cinema, right? I was impressed with it, but then I watched it again. I thought it was a better film the second time around, because there is parts where they recreated characters like Tarkin character, like Peter Cushing's character, and the effects are fantastic. People seem to be effects, but I think they look fantastic. They brought his character back to life, and the way they recreated his face and his voice and everything is incredible. Of course, there's a different actor doing his voice. There's like an actor doing his voice, and he did do a bad job doing Peter Cushing's voice. Very British. It's about his heroes led by Jyn Erso. Jyn, her name's character's name Jyn. She looked, and she's you know, so I like her character. She plays like this fugitive, and meets his other characters. Like a rebel spy and all, band together, and they go on a mission to get the plans for the Death Star, to find the weakness of it, because there's like a weakness in the plans themselves. This guy created her dad gave the Death Star a weakness for it to be destroyed, and stuff, right? Just in case. Played by him from James Bond, who played the villain in it. He's great. I think he's great in it. I liked his performance. And the guy who played the main villain in it, I think he's pretty cool and a really good actor. I can't remember what his name is. I love the scene where Darth Vader, they're on Mustafar, right? Actually, the scene is on Mustafar. I read it was Mustafar. And he's talking to him, man. I just love the part where he starts using Force choke on him and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Hey, the effects in this film are fantastic. I am not joking, man. I watched the film again, I'm just like, wow. Blown away by the effects in this film. I love the Death Star in it. I love the way that one part where they're on the planet, right, and the Death Star, and they try to destroy the planet, right. Actually, the thing is, it doesn't destroy the planet. It just like they use the Death Star's weapon on the planet, right. And of course, it makes a huge freaking like, it just does a lot of damage. Of course, it doesn't really blow the planet up there. They don't use it fully. They don't fully use the weapon on this planet. It just kind of like hits the planet once and that's it. So yeah, apart from that, I think that's pretty cool the way they did that. I don't think they used the full power on the station, because in the film, A New Hope, they actually blow the planet with one shot. That's just quite terrifying. Donnie Yen, yeah, but Forrest Whitaker. But I like Felicity Jones' character. I like her acting. I think she's a solid character, a real strong female character. Not very feminist, I don't think. She's a good character though, yeah. It's got some fantastic moments where I like the scene where Finger's character, Donnie Yen's character, who's blind by the way, but he's got to think about the Force. He's like obsessed with the Force. So he's not a Jedi though. He just knows about the Jedi. And they're trying to figure. They put like a thing over his head, like a bag of a sack over his head, and he goes, "I'm blind," you know. And that scene was funny. I thought that scene was genuinely funny. So yeah. Like I said, the effects are fantastic. I like the way they bridge the gap between A New Hope and this. At the end, I love that part. With the escape from the Empire. So And the scene where, you know, this Princess Leia makes her parents, of course, they use that CGI to make a young, to give a young Princess Leia, you know, and to put a young Princess Leia in the film. So yeah, but I think they did a very good job with the special effects and the recreation of the faces, like Peter Cushing's character and Tarkin. And I just think I was impressed with those effects. I was like, wow, these effects are fantastic. Yeah. He's a great character. I know. I like the rib on it. I think the droid is pretty cool in it. He's like a he's an Empire droid, but he's like reprogrammed and stuff. So it's like on their side. I love his character. I think he had a lot of attitude in this film. Well, she's great. And like I said, I keep saying she's great, but she is. Yeah, very good. It's like having the Dirty Dozen in the movie. It's like the Dirty Dozen. It's like in space. It's like Dirty Dozen, Saving Private Ryan and stuff like that. So yeah. It's got some great moments in it, but you know, I love the effects. Like I said, it's real well done. The guy, actually, it's directed by. Who was it directed by? Gareth Edwards. I'm not sure what he directed. He directed the Planet Eats films, I think. I'm not sure. So yeah, was it? I'm not sure now. What's the director? I'm not sure what he's doing. So yeah, comments to the bottom. What did he direct? I have no idea. So yeah. So yeah, great film, great special effects. The last part is fantastic space battle with the freaking, you know, where they get the plans for the Death Star. So I just think, what a great scene where you actually see the X-wings and stuff like that. Oh man. So yeah. Well, the rating I'm going to give this film is a 10 out of 10 because I love this. I just loved it. I think it was the best Star Wars film since I think it was the best Star Wars film since Empire Strikes Back, I think. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for that one. So Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Fantastic movie. 10 out of 10 for that. I loved it. That's actually probably my third favourite Star Wars film. I don't know, it's probably... So yeah, 10 out of 10 for a Rogue One. So yeah. So there's my review of Star Wars. That was a bit of a struggle, that was because I was like rushing some of it. But yeah. I took about an hour to that, did Jesus Christ. So yeah, I love the old Star Wars film. Like I said, you know, some of the films, you know, Phantom Menace is probably the worst one of the films, I think. I think the best ones were actually episode 4, 5 and Rogue One, I think. Yeah, so yeah. So may the Force be with you. I am your father. So yeah. Noddy Darth Vader. So yeah, before I go off, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and Snapchat, and hang on. Let's put my shoulder. There we go. Darth Vader, stay where you are. He's behind you. There you go. So yeah, I am your father. Yeah, I give Rogue One a 10 out of 10 for that. That's a great film. So yeah, before I go, like I said, follow me on there, enjoy the video, and watch your favorite, and comments to watch favourite Star Wars movie. Actually, I want to play some Star Wars right now, some Battlefront 2, because I figured I'm having a blast on it, really am. So have a nice evening, take care, and enjoy the Star Wars movie reviews. Bye. I'm going to put the scenes together now, so it's going to take me a while. Bye.